Welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be playing at Capital Casino, playing in the 1-3 game. As usual, I buy in for $500. This week was a good week for me overall. I did play one hand rather poorly, but I'm sure you're going to figure that out as soon as you see Zeus pop his little face in. Anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. I sit down in a 1-3 game. I've been there for about 15 minutes. The action's kind of slow, a lot of short stacks, a lot of limping. Here we got 3 limpers in front of me. I decided to raise to $20. I get called in 3 spots, so it's just going to be the 4 of us headed off to a flop with $86 in the center. Well, the flop is somewhat good. It comes ace, 5, 3, all diamonds. We do have top pair, top kicker, but we do not have a diamond. First 2 players check. Next player bets for 25. I think raising here is fine, but so is calling. I alternate between the two and decide just to call. See what happens on the turn. The turn is a good one. It's a black king, so I got top 2 pair. Player leads out again for $25. I think this is a very weak bet, one indicative of someone who does not have a flush or might still be drawing to a flush. So I really feel like I should be raising here. But you know what? That's not exactly what I do. I decide in my ultimate wisdom that I'm going to let them continue bluffing if they don't have a flush, and I decide to call.
No, just get the money in. Don't be silly. You're giving them a free draw at a diamond. If a diamond comes off on the river, you're going to be hating life.
I couldn't agree more with Zeus. I was thinking, oh man, I really messed this up. No diamond, no diamond. And then they put up the king of diamonds. Well, of all the diamonds in the world, that one is definitely the best. My opponent now checks. Well, of course, I hate seeing the check because that means that they might not even have diamonds. Maybe they flopped 2 pair. Who knows? But I just missed out on a ton of value. As for what I can get, well, I'm going to bet $100, hoping to get a crying call from someone with maybe 2 small diamonds. They might have flopped a flush. They ended up calling. I ended up showing down my full house, and they said they had a flush. I don't think I can play a hand worse than this, but if I do, I'm sure Zeus will let me know. Anyway, hopefully the rest of the vlog will be much, much better. A little while later, I pick up aces under the gun, open for 15. I get a call from the player on my direct left, and then the next player, and player at the other end of the table raised to 45, and I was very happy that he did. Gives us a chance to reopen the betting. Player in the middle of the table in the small blind puts in the call for the 45, and this is a mandatory raise situation here. Question is just what kind of size. I decided to go 100 on top of their 45. Neither one of them has a very big stack. They have about 300 left between them. Player on my direct left has me covered, and I didn't want them to get in for cheap. I think $30 would have been too cheap. So the 2 players on my left ended up folding out. Player at the end of the table tanks for a very long time and finally decides on a fold. He later told me that he had ace queen of hearts and that he didn't really like his hand. The other player in the small blind makes a very quick call for the additional money, and they've been playing a lot of hands, so I'm going to try to see what I can do here. Flop comes out queen 6 3 with 2 diamonds. They only have like $100 left in their stack. They checked it over. I put out a really small bet. I don't think they have anything at all, hoping to get a crying call. But after some time, they let it go, and we take down a nice pot, and I didn't really screw it up too much. This next hand is against the same player. They opened under the gun for $11. I look down at ace jack offsuit from middle position. I'm going to put in a raise here just to isolate them. They've been playing way too many hands and not playing them very well. Everyone else folds out, so it's just going to be the 2 of us head off to a flop that comes down ace 6 3 rainbow. So I got top pair, a decent kicker. They checked me. I'm going to continue for a small sizing, make it $25. They put in a quick call. Turn card comes is an ace, basically the best card I can catch. They check it over to me again. I'm going to go ahead and continue, this time for $50. Just trying to get some value out of someone who has a pocket pair that doesn't want to let it go. If they have an ace, I probably have them out kicked because chances of them having ace queen or ace king are slim. River card comes as a queen of spades. It looks like a pretty safe card to me. Might put a little bit of a scare into them if they have a hand like pocket nines or tens. They check it over. I decide to go for a $100 bet. Trying to get a crying call out of a pocket pair. They put in the call. I show them the ace, and we take down another pot. Off to a good start. We go on a little quiet streak for the next hour or so, not having too many hands to play, just kind of floating around where we were at. We're up like $500 at this point. Finally, I pick up pocket tens in middle position, open for a raise to $20 after one player limped. It's folded around to the big blind who puts in the call. The limper ends up folding out, and we're going to go off to the flop. There's some $44 in the center. Flop comes out king high, and he quickly checks it. I should probably be stabbing here, protect against overcards, but I decided to check this one back. Turn card comes as the three of diamonds, another big blank. He checks again. I decided to bet $25. He doesn't take long in calling, so either has like a pocket pair or maybe a weak king or some sort of flush draw. Nine of clubs comes in. I just checked this back thinking that he might have some weak king, but he did have a pocket pair. I think he would have paid off a small bet on the river. After this hand, I spent another hour playing, but no real hands to speak of. So we decided to pack it in and come back the next day. Been playing for about 45 minutes. Haven't really had very much to play. Still fluctuating around break even. Here I'm in the big blind with ace king offsuit. There's one player that limps. Another player puts in a raise to 20. Player calls to 20. When it gets back around to me, I make it $85 from the big blind. I thought this would be big enough just to get it to the two raisers, but the first player who limps in tanks for a while and decides that they're going to want to call. Now, they've been running kind of hot, and they think that they might be on a lucky streak at this point. So when he puts in the call, I'm thinking that he's very heavily weighted towards like middling pocket pairs, sevens, eights, nines, maybe even tens. A lot of people like to limp and call with those hands. The original raiser now shoves all in for $208, and we lose the player to my right. At this point, I'm just hoping to get it heads up with the all-in player. Putting the other one on a medium-sized pocket pair, I think there's only one move here, and that's just to shove all in. If he calls, well, I'll be flipping with him, and if he doesn't, then I might be up against another ace-king. Maybe I'll be flipping with him also if he has a pocket pair. So I shove all in for $500. The player who decided to call the 85 after limping now decides that his pocket pair is probably no good, and he ends up mucking it. So we're going to be running this one out with just the two of us. The all-in player had $208, so I get a little rebate on my all-in amount. And we go off to see a flop, and it comes 10 high. Not much help for us. Turn card comes is a 5 of hearts. River is a 6. I lose to any pocket pair, but he happens to have ace queen of hearts. All right, we dodged a couple bullets there. The person with ace queen of hearts picked up a flush draw on the turn, didn't get there. The other person told me he had pocket nines, and if he would have seen the flop, he definitely would have been calling. So we kind of dodged a bullet. We beat the man we could beat, and the one that had us beat folded. Well, I haven't played a hand since that one. It's been a half hour or so. I pick up king queen offsuit on the button. We have one limper, and I raise to 25. I was just trying to take down the blinds, but instead I get two callers, one from the small blind, one from the big blind. And it's going to be the three of us headed to a flop with $78 in the center. Flop comes out as good as you can imagine, king, queen, 7. So we flop top two. There are no flush draws out there. There is a possible straight draw. When it's checked to me, I bet for $30. Small blind decides to put in a call. I think if he had a strong king, he probably would have put in a raise. The other player folds out. We see a two of hearts on the turn. So I'm thinking he might have a hand like king jack, king 10, maybe ace queen. He checks over to me again. Of course, I'm going to bet this. I make it $80. He doesn't think too long before putting in the call. So now I'm getting him away from ace queen and king jack and putting him on more like jack 10. I didn't think he'd be playing this jack 10 in the small blind for a $25 raise. But if an ace or a 9 came up, I was going to be very careful. A blank comes on the river. I jam. He basically instant gives up and tosses his hand away. And we get another one. And for our most interesting hand of the day, we are on the button and we have pocket kings. Player opens for $20. I get another call from a player with about a $500 stack for the $20. And it comes to me on the button, and of course I'm going to be putting a raise. I make it $80. The player who is initial raiser doesn't have a very big stack, and I thought that he might go ahead and jam all in, but instead he makes a quick call. The next player, middle position, he thinks for a while before putting in his chips. So we got a pot of brewing here. We got $244 in. And we got a premium hand with position. What could go wrong? Flop comes out. 6-5-3 with two spades. Really good flop for me. Both players end up checking. I take a look at my kings to see if I have the king of spades blocker. I do not. The fact I don't have the king of spades in my hand makes it more likely that someone could have a flush draw at this point, because they can have all the combinations of king, queens, king, jack, queen, jack. All those spade draw combinations are possible. If I had a king of spades, that would limit them quite a bit. So I'm going to bet accordingly. I'm thinking that they either have some sort of pocket pair or some sort of big suited cards. So I'm going to make my bet 2/3 pot. And I end up betting $160. Most people with an overpair on this board with a small stack are definitely going to get pot committed. So I expect maybe the first caller, he could easily have hands like middling pocket pairs and maybe just two overcards that he might be willing to go with. He only has like $95 remaining, and it's already going to be a $500 pot. So he's all in for his 95. Now the next player thinks for a while, and it feels like he has a flush draw. I can't really put my finger on exactly why, but by the way he's acting, I'm thinking that he definitely has some sort of flush draw here. After some long thought, he finally decides to make the call for the $160 bet. So there's a lot of cards I don't want to see on this turn. Anything with a spade or anything with an ace would be bad in my opinion. The dealer did some mathematics and figured out what the side pot should be. And once he has that all squared away, we're going to go see what comes on this turn card. And it is a beautiful king of hearts. We now moved up to top set. Don't have to worry about those aces anymore. Just have to worry about the flush. Player checked it over to me. I jam all in. He has about $260 left in his stack and makes a quick call. River card comes as a 6 of spades. It does bring in the flush, but it pairs the board. I show my full house, and the player looks a little bit disgusted and showed that he had king, queen of spades. Wow, that's quite a cooler for him. King, queen suited, definitely would be calling pre-flop. The raise, I definitely would have been calling that. Flop bet, wouldn't get away from that flush draw in that big of a pot. Once I made top pair, though, I think I would have just shoved all in there to deny equity for anything less than king, queen. But yeah, just a cooler. No way he could have got away from this hand. After this hand, I played for another 30 minutes. Didn't really pick up anything. I think I won one other small pot, but that's about it. The following day, I had this interesting hand. A couple of people asked to see it. It starts off with me raising from under the gun to $15 with 9-10 of clubs. I've been playing pretty snug all day, so I think they're giving me some respect. The player to my left puts in the call, and so does the big blind. So it's just going to be the three of us seeing this flop, and there's $46 in the center. Flop comes out 8 high, rainbow. There is one club. First player checks. I figured I'll go ahead and take a stab at this. That's not a board that these people will be connecting with too often. Player on my left puts in a quick call for the 25. The other one folds out. So I'm looking for something that will give me some more equity, like a 7 of clubs or a jack of clubs. But instead, we catch the 7 of diamonds. Well, that gives us an open-ender, 2 overcards, and a range that really shouldn't hit them too hard. I decided to bet again, this time for $50. Now that I have some additional equity, I can put a little bit additional pressure on them. After some thought, they decide that this is a hand they want to continue with, and they end up putting in the call for the additional $50. Of course, I don't really like this. I was hoping just to get away with it right now, but now we just have to make our hand on the river. Instead, we catch the King of Hearts. A complete blank. I have a feeling my opponent was on some sort of draw and missed. Maybe he has like an ace-4 or ace-5 type of hand. I decided I was going to go for it. There was like $200 in the pot. I figure if I bet $100 at this point, I only have to win it 1 out of 3 times. And I think the chances of me getting away with a bluff here is above that. My reputation has been pretty strong all day long, and I don't think they have very much to call with. If they have a pair of 8s, I think I would be surprised. I think most likely they have a hand like ace-5 or ace-4, and we're calling for a gut shot with an ace overcard. Anyway, after some long thought, my opponent finally decides to let it go, and we get away with a bluff to finish out the vlog. So for the week, we end up doing very well. We ended up winning 1835, a nice win. Ran good basically all day long, all week long. The only hand I really played super poorly was that first one. I definitely should have bet some more. As you can see, our monthly total is up to $3,300 or so, and our yearly is up to like $21,000, I believe. So we're making some progress. We're still way behind what I would like to achieve for this year, but I still got 2 months left, right? 2 months, yeah. Anyway, I really do appreciate you guys sticking around to the end and watching the videos. I do have one little announcement to make. I partnered with a media company that would be making some short form content for my channel. You should be seeing it over the next few weeks or so. I did make some on my own. They said that they can get me a better response than mine, and that's probably correct. I'm not very good at short form stuff. I have a hard time fitting everything I want to say into 60-second clip. So they're going to do that for me. So you'll be seeing those come out. It's not really targeted for the vlog watcher that I currently have. You guys are well aware of the channel and what it does. It's mainly to attract new people to the channel and hopefully grow my subscriber base. So until next time, thanks for watching. Good luck at the tables, and we'll see you back here next week.